Welcome back. Well, Sir Richard Branson painted the town red today as Virgin Active takes on the likes of Fitness First with the launch of its first Melbourne gym. Sir Richard spoke with Business Channel reporter Aaron Young, who began by asking if the smaller Virgin businesses are standing on their own 2 feet.
Yes, I mean, I think the brand, the Virgin brand is one of the better known global brands. I think that we are expanding in most of our companies rather than contracting in a time of recession. Obviously there are exceptions to that, but for instance, in Australia this Friday we launch a brand new airline via Australia, which will fly to 7 destinations from Australia. We'll be starting with Sydney to Los Angeles, then Melbourne to Los Angeles, then Brisbane to Los Angeles, and then Los Angeles to Johannesburg, and there'll be other routes to follow. And it's we picked up the new plane from Boeing a week ago, and it's beautiful. So we think that could turn into a very successful business.
So Richard, over the past few weeks we've seen a lot said and written about your Formula One ambitions. When will we see a Virgin Honda team competing at the Melbourne Grand Prix?
Well, I've heard rumour that we may be talking to Honda. Nothing's been confirmed.
Well, here's your chance. Can you confirm that now?
I'm afraid that if we were in talks, we wouldn't be allowed to talk about them. But I am keen that Virgin gets into Formula One. It's a fun sport. But we've made it clear to Bernie Ecclestone that if we are to get involved, we want Formula One to be turned into a sport which is pioneering green energy. We think all that money spent on the cars and ought to be clean. And we've also said that we want the cost of running Formula One teams to be economically viable. They haven't been in the past, and I think in these days they should be. Otherwise, I think it looks bad for companies to be spending tens of millions of pounds or dollars on teams and at a time of great recession when the money could be better spent.
Airlines in Asia are bucking the trend at the moment. They're profitable. Why have you decided to take via Australia to the United States and not instead from the east coast of Australia to Asia? So many Qantas executives are scratching their head. They're telling us they don't understand why you made this decision. Is it because your hands are tied behind your back by your half-share partner in Virgin Atlantic, which is Singapore Airways?
Well, I'm not necessarily going to take advice from Qantas as to where we should be flying. I'm sure they would like us not to be taking them on the American routes. They've made a lot of money out of America for a long time. I'm sure they would rather we didn't take them on the African routes, where they made a lot of money for a long time. Asian routes, because of the slump, are actually not doing that well, I believe, for Qantas right now. But if they'd like to give me their figures, and if we find that they're doing really well on the Asian routes, we'd be very happy to start flying there very soon as well. No, we're allowed to fly anywhere we want, and one day I'm absolutely certain that we will be, flying to China and other Asian routes. But we'd love to see Qantas's figures and see whether it makes sense.
There are still delays getting the A380 aircraft to companies like Virgin Atlantic. Given the overcapacity of the market at the moment right around the world, do you still want to go ahead with that purchase to buy the A380s?
Well, we're not getting an A380 for about 3 more years, and we think that may be about the right time to get it once, hopefully. We've all worked very hard, and we've managed to get the recession behind us. In the meantime, we're flying very fuel-efficient, brand-new 777s, which we think is absolutely the right plane for the Trans-Pacific.
Virgin Blue's stock price must be within reach at the moment. Would you consider boosting your stock, bringing Virgin Blue back into your fold?
It is cheap, as is most airline stocks around the world. But if we were interested in doing something with it, I wouldn't be able to comment one way or the other anyway. We are the largest shareholder of Virgin Blue. We're happy being the largest shareholder, and we think it has a good future.
The other area Virgin does well with at the moment in the UK is subscription television and media services. Would you consider bringing subscription television, extending the business here to Australia anytime soon?
I'm sure your bosses at Sky will be so pleased that you should suggest that. We'll come in and compete with Sky in Australia. We've got no plans to at the moment, but we'd certainly never say never, as you know.
Always leaving the door open. And that is Business Report for this Monday. I'm Diana Dora here from all the team here at Channel 602. Thanks for your company.